Hello everyone, hello and welcome back to Oxventure Presents Blades in the Dark, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Johnny and Andy. Hello.
Hello. Hi.
AKA, do you want to introduce your characters?
After you, good sir.
I'm Edvard Lumiere, the genius inventor. You've probably heard of my inventions. Maybe you're using one of them right now. The chair, invented that if you're sitting in it. The special Edvard Lumiere chair that walks around your house with you.
That was an easy one.
That was an easy one to invent. I just put some legs on a stool and a back.
And who else do we
I don't
have?
How these ideas come to me.
I'm Kasimir Jones, and if you've heard of me, then it's probably too late.
Ooh, Edvard, that was pretty snappy. Do you want to do yours again, or?
It is getting on.
Right, is everyone ready to enter my fantabulous Imaginarium? We could submit to total immersion, etc., etc., etc.
100%. It's nice to be asked.
Oh well, yeah.
Normally, just get yeeted into the Imaginarium.
Yeah,
95% immersion.
Yep, you are being strapped into comfortable chairs and lowered into the Imaginarium pool, which will give you incredible powers of imagination. You two, Edvard and Kasimir, you weren't part of the last score, which was very Barnaby and Lilith focused. The sort of rule that I'm thinking of sticking with for now is that if you weren't part of a heist, then you get one free downtime roll. So is there anything that your characters would like to do in your kind of bonus downtime?
I would like to continue healing my face wounds, please.
Amazing. Yes, that's right, because you still had a scratched up face.
I had 3 out of 4 heals.
Okay.
But I still needed that last heal.
Well, I don't think there's anything you could roll that would not fill that last piece of clock.
Great.
So, yeah, congratulations. You have a sparkling clean...
You have a normal face.
You have a normal face again.
Good.
No one gasps when they see you in the street. And Kasimir?
So, I'm on 5 stress, but I don't want to overindulge, because if I roll a 6, that will happen. So I might actually stick with my 5 stress. Smash cut to me taking my first trauma. But as a downtime action, I can source an asset, can't I?
You can, yeah.
I think I'd like to source a sort of a getaway vehicle.
Ooh, okay.
I'll tell you what, can I sort of schmooze some of the gondoliers? Because they're one of the city's factions, right?
Yes, they are.
Can I basically rig us a getaway boat? Can I have a guy waiting in a gondolier as like the extraction point?
Yes.
But if I can I have to roll for this, don't I?
You do have to roll for it. I think you have to roll to sort of determine the quality of it.
The quality of the gondola.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to roll consort, because talking to my criminal buddies, I have 2 in consort.
Oh, lovely.
So... that's a pair of 3s.
Oh, okay. All right. No worries. Let's file that away. So, we join Kasimir and Edvard.
Hello.
You're in the back room of Eleanor's Largely Legal Antiques. It's only late morning, but Barnaby and Lilith wanted to take everyone out to the pub to regale them with tales of their incredible heist that they just pulled off. They went with Zilla and they left you two to lock up. And as you're, which was a bit rude of them, and as you're on your way out, there is a knock at the door. That's what it sounds like.
Sounds like a knock or possibly a horse passing.
And a shout, delivery!
Oh, well, there's not a knocking horse then.
Yeah. Well, delivery, that's great. That could be scientific parts that I need for my next invention, I say, striding over to the door and flinging it wide open.
There is a rather confused postman there. He's I'm not used to such enthusiastic reception from my services, sir. 2 parcels here if you wouldn't mind signing for them.
Absolutely. I sign my alias, Cornelius Gory. There we go.
Nice. Okay, great, fantastic. Yeah, you take receipt of these 2 parcels.
Kasimir, got some post. Probably crime equipment, I expect. It's exciting.
We just call it equipment, mate.
Oh, sorry, yes. I'm new to all this. It's very exciting. Anyway, let's crack open these parcels, see what's in here.
All right, you do one, I'll do the other.
All right. I tear excitedly into the parcel.
It's like Christmas morning. Inside one parcel is a beautiful vase, and inside the other one is a hammer.
Kasimir, some kind of crime vase, I say.
We just... Yeah.
Yes, vase. It's a vase. It's a regular vase. What have you got? Crime hammer? Hammer. Got a hammer.
I've got an hammer, yeah.
Well, applying my brilliant scientific mind to this problem, seems to me that we should strike the vase with the hammer, and it could produce some sort of unusual effect.
Sure. Yeah. All right.
I've already started smashing the vase.
I'm just shielding my eyes from flying pottery.
You run the experiment and find following results. The vase is filled with silver pieces totaling 4 coin, which is your cut of Barnaby and Lilith's previous escapades, and a letter from Eleanor, which reads, "It's anchors away, I hear," which you both realise is a good pun written down because away is spelled A-W-A-Y. You've earned a little more information on how this works. Consider me a seller of the unsellable. Items and information too unique, too traceable for any ordinary fence. I have a client with an urgent request. Find out what the Clelland Company is feeding that thing.
The Clelland Company is feeding that thing?
Mm-hmm. That is the end.
Do you know what that means, Kasimir?
Frankly, no.
No. Well, I've observed some very interesting results from the hammer vase experiment. Look, silver came out.
Yeah, I'm already stacking it into 2 even piles. Right.
Nice.
Just going to note these findings.
Something about the name Clelland is tugging at the edges of your memory, Kasimir, and you remember now that last time you were in previous time that you were in this back room, there were indeed some notes about the Clelland Company debuting a certain innovation, something that seemed to be very valuable at some kind of convention.
That's right. Flashback. Oh, the Clelland Company? Yes. Yeah, I'm going to go over to the wall and be like, "Here, look, there's, it looks like we're being pointed to one of these little notes that Ellen has written up for us. Looks like there's some sort of convention going on. CAPER,
the Experiments Board,
I think they call it.
Yes, I was quite keen to check it out myself. Apparently there are some fascinating new innovations that are on show down there.
There is indeed a poster for the annual CABCon. You realise with some alarm that today is the last day of CABCon in whatever year it is.
Oh, it's going to be packed.
Yep, it is the cabbie's biggest industry event of the year, and by now the news of the big unveiling there has reached the mainstream. You don't have to have attended CABCon to know that the Clelland Company has revealed the greatest, most advanced goat that has ever been seen in Volasport. Yes. This does not surprise you at all, Edvard, because as a resident of Volasport, well, you know that cabs in town are pulled by goats, Acrosian goats. And this latest innovation is a new and innovative goat.
I actually turned my interest towards developing a better goat quite recently, actually. So I am keen to find out what direction they've gone in to see how many flamethrowers they decided to use. And how they stopped them setting themselves on fire. That was a big stumbling block for my experiments. So I'm actually quite keen to go and check it out. Just casting my mind back to when I was researching the convention to attend myself. Do you have to be a cab driver or in the cab industry to attend, or is it open to the public? Let me just see if I can remember.
You remember that you can attend as a member of the public if you send off for an application and pay a small fee, but that it is free to exhibitors as long as you have a pass.
I seem to remember. If I just can I just flash back to what? Yes, I seem to remember that I did apply for a pass for myself and my lab assistant, which I do actually have those on me. Amazingly,
you reach into your pocket.
This is a great fortuitous event. I actually have passes already for CabCon.
That is indeed incredibly convenient,
isn't it? Yeah.
I feel a little sorry for the lab assistant though, who doesn't get to go to CabCon. What's their name, Edvard?
Their name is Aloysius.
Oh, Aloysius.
Yeah, I mean they know why they're not allowed to come. They know what they did.
Okay, I'm writing into canon right now that for all of this, what's about to happen, just know that Aloysius is stood by the door, dressed in their finest clothes, waiting for your knock to go to CabCon, which you've been promising to take them to all year.
They've still got the corsage in the box.
He dropped my favourite retort. So
Well,
He won't learn it. He won't learn anything.
Why didn't you just go to the bakery and buy a new one?
Right.
Yes, no, I tried, but it was closed.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, your objective has been laid before you at Capcom. This goat, the prize Clelland Acrosian goat, is being showed off. It's the last day of Capcom, and Eleanor wants information or proof of what they're feeding that thing, of why it's so incredible.
Sounds pretty straightforward.
Yeah, we don't even need to take the goat.
We can just look at it and see what they feed it.
Yeah. To be honest with you, this sounds like quite a nice day out.
Yeah. No, it should be. I mean, it's going to be fascinating. Some of the new experiments and innovations that they're showing off. I think you'll get a real kick out of it, old man.
Yeah, I've been meaning to ask, actually. I mean, obviously, you know, invention's kind of your stock and trade, and for what it's worth, I was quite impressed with the whole, you know, knocking out His Majesty
Strong Barnaby nickname.
when we last
Ah,
ran
the old snooze bomb.
Yeah. Last time we ran a job together, but what's with? I mean, every now and then you'll look at a light switch or a padlock or a moving vehicle, and you'll seem, if you'll forgive me, apoplectic with rage. What's that about? Do you just hate certain objects? It's just
Not
seems like a
apoplectic
weird.
with rage,
Go on.
dear boy. It's apoplectic with being right.
I-
And I'm fine with most things. It's just the inventions created by Amadeus Astor, who is a fraud and a charlatan. And you will encounter more of them than there should be in the world because he is a damn cheat and a liar. And a stupid idiot, and I hate him. But as you can see, I'm fine with it,
Oh no!
and it's not even a problem.
Absolutely, mate. I mean, sorry, apoplectic. You're right. Gross exaggeration. I meant more that you're.
I'm just saying that he's a fraud.
No, that's all good and well, mate. Good, and you
As
know,
you can see, I've got it under control.
completely under control. Absolutely no issues outstanding or seething or bubbling away under the surface whatsoever. It's good to know. Good to know. It's good to know you can trust the person you're about to go.
Indeed. Anyway, to Capcom.
Yes.
So this is a conversation that you have on the way to Capcom, and unless there's anything specific you want to tell me about the way you're going. In fact, let's determine what kind of score this is, shall we? Would you like a recap of the types of score?
Yeah, go for it.
Assault, deception, stealth, occult, social, and transport.
I'd say it's either deception or social. Because actually, no, it's social because we're not even pretending to be people we aren't. I mean, I am, but
You're
I'm
Aloysius.
I am, to all intents and purposes, his assistant today, though. So
Wow, okay.
yeah, social.
Cool.
We're just walking up to the front door and giving them the things we're allowed to have.
Okay, well, in that case, I need to know detail the social connection, but I suppose that's already been established by the sound of it. I mean, the social connection is the Capcom Administrative Board, to whom Edvard has already applied.
/ a
I've already
community of
applied
peers.
for tickets in my capacity as an inventor.
All right, well then, let's roll the engagement roll and see how everything is going. When you arrive, so we take 1 dice for pure luck. Here is your pure luck dice. Look at it. Gaze upon its beauty. Would you say that this score is especially bold or daring?
No.
Doesn't sound like it.
I don't think
So
I would
far.
actually. No.
Yeah.
To be savagely honest, does it expose a weakness? Are you sort of hitting the group where they're weakest? Again,
Yes, the
not-
damned fools are showing off the goat that we're there to look at.
Yes.
Couldn't
cool.
be more exposed.
I'll allow it. You're right. Very exposed, arrogant of them to show off their
To show off
innovation.
this goat.
Yep,
The goat of goats.
I'll add a D for that. And
Greatest of all time.
Goatest of all time.
Goatiest. This goat is goated.
are any friends or can any friends or contacts provide aid?
Not
It's
from
fine
my
if no.
not from my part.
Okay, right.
I don't think so, unless there's been any articles about this goat in any of the scientific journals that I subscribe to.
I would say that the news is still very new. The scientific community, like that.
There hasn't been a goat preview in
Yeah.
latest
long-
issue of.
Yeah, they didn't.
Inventions
They didn't show this goat in advance to media. This is a real surprise drop. This is a fire drop.
Right, sure.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to roll 2 dice then. Here we go. What do we got? Well, friends of mine, that is, well, this one's a 2.
Mm-hmm.
But this one is a 1. So, you arrive at Capcom. It is housed in a very, very large brick building. It's it used to be a warehouse, but now it's kind of event space. It's beautiful. It's actually alongside a river or like a canal. There's a large stationary ship positioned just outside. It's kind of largely decorative. It's an old, tall ship of the kind that no longer are useful since steam power became so prevalent. And there is a large queue to get up to the front gate of Capcom. Edvard, you hand over your passes and you say, hello, this is me, Edvard, speaking to the ticket inspector. Suddenly, as Aloysius's paperwork is handed over, Kasimir, you go to reach for it, and as you pull out the paperwork, a large switchblade falls out your pocket as well, and just kind of lands straight in front of on the desk of the ticket person, and they are sat there looking at it. They've got like a big list of names, and they go,
Aloysius, your science knife has fallen out of your pocket. You might want to retrieve that.
Oh.
Wouldn't want anyone to get hurt.
Silly me, yes.
Sorry for my assistant. He doesn't keep his equipment very secured. It's always happening. He dropped my favourite retort the other week. Almost didn't get to come. This is a treat for him today. It's a nice day out.
a science knife.
Yeah. You never use a science knife? Oh, I use it for all sorts of things. Chopping up samples, scraping samples off things, opening science envelopes.
Dissections, vivisections.
Yeah, all sorts.
Cross-sections.
Well,
If you've not been using a science knife in your experiments, then really, I thoroughly recommend it, old boy.
Well, a science knife it may be, but I'm afraid at Cabcon we have a no weapons policy, and this science knife, I'm sure you'll agree, could be put to ill effect. So I'm going to have to ask you to go through this extra security queue over here, please, and show your credentials again.
It's really more of a tool than a weapon, I'd say.
Look, I understand. You know, it's all part of the scientific method. If we're not precise about these things, etc., etc.
That's how it goes. If you're
Firm
not precise
grounding
about these things, etc.
in the fundamentals.
Yeah. Right, you move on to the enhanced screening, the sort of extra security queue. When you get to the front there is a much less friendly-looking, sort of big, burly security guard, and he says, Well, thought you could sneak a weapon into Cabcon. Well, you're not the first, and you won't be the last. All metal objects, in fact, all objects out on this table, you can collect them when you leave. He's
Okay.
asking for all your stuff.
Yeah.
All of my stuff.
Yeah.
Am I basically being stripped of my boxes of load?
Yes, you're both being stripped of all your load.
All right. Sure. Yeah.
You can try and conceal something if you like. You'd have to make an extra. Well, as you know, you wouldn't get that for free. There'll be an extra roll. But that's what he's asking for. Everything in this basket, please.
My bandolier of alchemicals is worn under my shirt. And do they have any sort of metal detector?
They don't have any sort of metal detector. That's not a technology that Volisport has. However, but what they do have is a man called Metal, and he is a detector. He's patting everyone down who sort of comes through this extra security thing. So you'll have to make it past a pat down if you want to try and get something through.
Probably not worth it, is it?
I'm gonna dump out all my stuff, but I'm going to keep hold of my cane. Be like, I need this, mate. Basic mobility.
You wouldn't deprive an old man of his walking stick.
Yeah.
No, I've been told. No, I shan't be doing that, no.
Thanks.
Cool. And does this include my tinkering tools? I mean, I doubt they could be considered a weapon. They're like just fine little picks and stuff.
And why would you need that at Cabcon, sir?
Well, I don't specifically need it during the day. They're just quite expensive. I don't want to leave them anywhere where they might get stolen. I mean, I'll leave everything else. I just...
Listen, mate. Can I talk to you for a sec? Can I have a word?
Yeah, good. Yeah, all right.
I want to sort of take his arm and literally just turn him around so he's behind. He's got his back rather to Edvard. Be like,
yeah.
Listen, mate. This guy's my employer. I'm his assistant. He's been very good to me in the past, and
I'd like to throw my tinkering tools and my alchemicals past the checkpoint into a dark corner.
Okay.
And look, they've got a ticketed event in there. It's about the manipulation of tiny mechanisms in pocket watches to make sure that they run to time. I told him that it was completely sold out, no chance of getting a ticket. It's his birthday next week. I've got him one. Look, if he turns up and he has to use whatever tools they've let the public handle for the last few days, all sticky and blunted and frankly low quality, then it's gonna ruin it, mate. I'm asking you just to do me, and I'm gonna sort of try and palm him a few silvers. Just do me this one favour.
As sob stories go, I've heard better, but who am I to deny a man his dreams? What was this exhibition you said?
It's something about the fine manipulation of
Yes.
the internal workings of pocket watch. I'm just an assistant, mate. You know, all the technical jargon.
No problem.
I mean, you've seen the size of my scientific tools. It's practically a cleaver.
He spins around and looks at you, Edvard, and he says, your assistant has apprised me of the fact that you are here to attend a very special seminar exhibition
Yes.
inside. So
Very exciting.
those thieves' tools, oh, they've gone.
Oh, they've not been stolen.
You had them a
This
minute
is
ago,
exactly what I was hoping wouldn't happen.
sir. Where are they?
Joking.
Hang on, I'm going to make a roll for him. Isn't that them there in the corner, sir?
Good heavens, you're right. They must have fallen on the floor and someone must have kicked them as they walked past.
How
Now, let me...
unusual.
Yeah.
What a terrible calamity.
Gosh, well, at least they're found. That's the main thing. These things are a gift from my grandfather.
It's the kind of remarkable coincidence one doesn't forget easily, not without a little.
He's your supervisor.
I want to get right up close to him and be like, "You've already had a little, mate."
Cool. Make me a roll for that. I think at this
Okay.
point something should be rolled.
That's a sway roll, I reckon. I've only got one in that, so let's see how this goes. That's a 6.
Yeah, all right. Just don't make a fuss. Don't make a noise. All right. You can go in. So
Thank
you are
you.
going in with your cane and tinkerer's tools.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everything else you have left in a bucket.
Well, I mean, I did also throw my bandolier of alchemicals. It just sounds like you didn't spot that in the corner.
Yeah. All right. You also have your bandolier of alchemical preparations.
Just so we're clear and it's not a nasty surprise later, my cane counts as an unusual weapon.
Yes, I suspected it might do. Cool. Yeah. All right. Yes. So you are through mercifully, and you are ushered into the entrance hall to CAPCON. It is full of people. There's people handing out flyers. Edvard, you are having a truly wonderful time. CAPCON, although it started as something that was specifically for the cab drivers union, it has somewhat expanded to become a little bit of a public spectacle, because it is where great technological, scientific innovations, mostly to do with cab driving, get showed off. As you look around, there are sort of booths devoted to Rain's technology, like new sort of like automatic folding goat blinders that keep goats focused, things like that. All these wonderful things to do with the cab trade.
God, Kasimir, look at all this incredible technology. Look at this. It's a new kind of velocipede, I think, where the front wheel is enormous and the back wheel is also enormous. The penny.
Wow, that's
Possibly
incredible.
the farthing. I'm not sure which is the higher value.
No, I had a farthing growing up. How much? Yeah,
Just to be
I don't
clear
know
to the
that.
viewers at home, you might be imagining that with two wheels the same size, we're talking about an ordinary bicycle. It is actually a penny farthing with two gigantic
Yeah, two
wheels.
enormous
I just
penny
want-
farthing
yeah.
wheels. Gosh, that's so innovative.
Yeah, there's
incredible.
a sort of acrobat woman who's kind of like riding it around. She's kind of doing like sort of handstands and sort of gymnastics on the like in the saddle as she kind of totters and wheedles around. There's music playing, everyone's having a lovely time. All social strata from Volisport are here at CabCon. There's fancy folks in fine frocks and finery, and there's also sort of the kind of lower and like middle class residents of Volisport. Also, they've saved up their money to come and see the wonderful marvels.
Okay.
Well, Kasimir, I think we should plan out our day. I've been looking at the schedule, so there's going to be a very interesting demonstration of electrical artificers. I think they're gonna have a demonstration of their latest technology, and then some of the Sparkcraft stuff that they've been coming out with recently. It's just absolutely incredible. So we definitely don't want to miss that. First, I think we should take a sort of loop around and check out, just get our bearings, make sure we don't miss anything. And then we can sort of start working our way through the booths based on the time that they'll be doing demonstrations. Probably want to take a few moments for lunch as well. But I think we should have a rich, full day ahead of us. This is very exciting.
Yeah. Is it, in your itinerary there, at any point does it mention look at goat?
Oh, of course, the goat. Forgot why we were here for a second.
No, listen, mate, it's fine. You're in your element. I understand. I'd be doing similar if this was a convention about
knife murder.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what.
StabCon.
Oh, you've been?
Yeah, had a great time.
Yeah. They say it's a once in a lifetime experience. Tell you what, why don't you get started on your little doobry, and I'll try and find out when the goat feeding times are. There's no reason, we can't have a little fun while we're here.
I start on my little doobry.
Okay, cool.
I'm just going around looking at all the inventions and making notes and thinking of how I could incorporate them, improve them into the work that I do.
Just to be clear, we're splitting the party. Edvard, you are sort of just doing a lap, taking in the sights and the sounds, and dare I say it, the smells of CabCon. And Kasimir, you are specifically out to find out the location, some details about the Clelland Company.
My plan is concession stand, pick up a brochure, find out where the goat is, and see if feeding times are listed on said brochure.
That sounds great. Maybe just both of you just roll me for your independent activities.
Okay, I'm going to do study.
Very fair.
Makes the most sense to me, which is 1 die. I'm not going to push myself, because I might need those dice later. That's a 2.
Okay.
I will also do study, because I have a dot in study. So that's how many die if I have 1 dot? Sorry.
1 die.
Just 1 die.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a 3.
A 3? Okay. Neither of those are successes, but it's okay. Okay, Edvard, you walk around, you take in the sights and the sounds and the smells of CabCon. You are having an absolutely wonderful time. Some of these innovations are really, really incredible. There's one stand, in fact, that particularly catches your attention. It looks like a brass cylinder, but it's kind of held in like a demonstration thing, and it kind of with a hiss of steam, it's kind of going and sort of like telescoping in and out ever so slightly. It's really, really fine work. It's really impressive, and you get a little closer to take a look at it. A gentleman comes up to you and says, "Ah, sir, I see you're admiring the hydraulic spoke. Would you agree it's quite fine?"
Very impressive. How does it work? What does it do? What's it for?
Well, when 12 of these hydraulic spokes are placed inside the wheel of your ordinary cab, you will ensure the smoothest ride possible for customers. Yes, it's a little expensive, but we think once cab drivers get their first taste of Astor's latest innovation, a little innovation. It's sort of like an invention and an innovation.
I know what it is!
Oh, you've invented... You're familiar with innovations?
I was the first to invent. I invented inventing. I invented it.
As this predictable rant sort of explodes, a few people around you look at you with suspicion. You see a sort of security guard who's kind of like stationed over on one of the doors, kind of just like look over and just make a note of the noise. And I'll start a clock that I'll call kicked out, which just generally sort of reflects suspicious or unusual behaviour at CabCon. I won't fill any pieces actually, but
how many pieces does it have?
Only 4. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make it 6. Cool.
Okay. Well, I calmed down externally.
Sure.
Internally, I am now studying the hydraulic spoke to figure out a way to sabotage it and ruin Astor's reputation.
Yeah, upon studying it, you notice that it's actually something. It's very, very similar to something that you've been working on for.
Yeah.
Let's cut now to Kasimir. What did you roll again?
I rolled a 2.
You rolled a 2. Okay. You walk off kind of into the crowd in search of information about the Clelland Company. All of a sudden, all the lights go down, like, boom, and a sort of thrill of excitement runs through the crowd. And then there's a sort of fanfare that plays. There are like 2 buglers kind of in the side of the room. There's an
My hand
announcement.
goes to a knife that isn't there.
Yeah. You are immediately on your guard, and an announcement in voice coming out of the darkness, sort of amplified with an oscillotronic speaker tannoy device, says,
The Clelland Company is proud to say the next demonstration of its incredible innovation will be in 1 hour. Find us at the Clelland booth.
And then as the lights come up, you find that you are face to face with 2 familiar people. It's Lisette and Andrel, who you last saw while you were dressed as a butler, Kasimir. Andrel Lisette looks very, very tired and drained. And Andrel is kind of walking, favouring one side, and occasionally kind of goes, ooh, like this, and sort of like grabs at his shoulder as if it's in some discomfort. They don't recognise you, but they're here.
Okay. I think I would like to prowl past them before they make me, basically. Before they realise who I am.
Yep, good idea.
I rolled 2 2s.
Okay. You go to prowl past them, but Lisette unfortunately, she just turns just at the wrong moment and says, I'm sorry, beg pardon, sir. You seem awfully familiar. Do I know you from somewhere?
Yes, ma'am. I was previously in your employ, but
I see.
I was let go. It was decided that in the events of the fire, my actions were negligent. I did not secure enough valuables on my way out of the building to save the fruits of your estate, and for that I would like to personally apologise. It was just that I was let go, and I'm here just handing out my CV, really.
It was a nasty business, that. Most unfortunate, and the Bluecoats say that they have no leads, you know.
Oh, do the Bluecoats suspect it was deliberate, Mum?
Oh yes. Oh. They're very much of the opinion that the fire could not possibly have started in the collection room of all places. There are no incendiary devices there. I don't even allow a fireplace in case the smoke would interfere with the collection.
Well, any place can become a fireplace, Mum, if you...
Well, don't I know it? She sort of a small burst of emotion comes out.
I'm sorry, Mum. I'm causing you distress. So I shall make my leave.
The loss of the collection was very hard to bear, and of course, poor Andrel's health has suffered terrible. Andrel gives a big cough.
Yes, well,
Andrel, could you please keep it down? She says.
Yeah, and Andrel, we're trying to talk.
Andrel goes, sorry. She says, well, yes, I'm sorry. I will let you get on. What an odd coincidence, and thank you for the apology. Too many of the staff didn't have their priorities straight when the blaze began, and too many of them had to be let go for such awful negligence in not trying to save more of my precious collection. And she turns away, and the conversation is over. I'll mark her. There we go. I'll mark. I'll tick. Yeah, I'll tick a box there.
There is a strange tickling feeling at the base of my skull. It is the start of an emotion others have told me is called guilt.
Oh.
And Kasimir goes, "Ugh," and the moment passes.
Good. All right. That's awesome. You resisted that guilt. That's fantastic. Okay. So, what you materially have learned is that within the hour at the Clelland booth there is going to be a demonstration. But that's where you are.
Okay. I would like to find the Clelland booth to make sure that I have. I want to see what vantage is offered by the booth. Whether, for example, there's a feeding trough or an obstacle course or something. I want to try and glean what I can about the demonstration to come.
Cool. No need to roll for that because there's a map. There is a map. Like all convention maps, you get lost a few times trying to find where you're going because it doesn't seem to take into account that everything's spread across several levels. But you do make your way to. It's in the central spot of the largest hall. The Clelland Company has spared no expense in kind of booking out this large bit of floor real estate. There is a huge banner, huge sort of silk banner from the ceiling that just says Clelland. There's a large central staging area, and there are signs up that say, "Come ye and see Bessie, the marvel of science, demonstrations hourly, the fastest, smoothest ride you'll ever have, courtesy of the geniuses at Clelland," or something like that. In this room, the crowd is enormous. You can just about see like the top of the stage that presumably this demonstration is going to happen on, but only just, and you would have a very hard time getting anywhere near it. It is rammed in here.
The stage in the middle, does it perchance have sort of like a skirt around it to hide the sort of struts and stuff?
Yes, it does.
I should like very much to go underneath the stage, please.
Right. Let's come back to that in a minute. I just want to jump to Edvard and find out what Edvard is up to.
Well, I'm standing there studying the hydraulic spoke, furiously staring at it, figuring out how it works, when all of a sudden the lights dim and the announcement starts that was previously
that we just heard from
heard. So I take this as my opportunity to rub one of my alchemical preparations onto the hydraulic spoke. It's like a sort of slightly less extreme version of nitroglycerin. It's an explosive that as it gradually heats up, it will sort of catch fire. It's quite volatile, but it will take a while to go. The hydraulic action of the spoke over time will eventually cause it to burst into flames.
Okay.
So I would like to rub that onto the hydraulic spoke while no one's looking. I have a cloth, I have this alchemical preparation, and I would like to do that in as non-noticeable a way as possible while everyone's distracted by the lights being down and the announcement.
I'll tell you what, there's no need to roll for it going on and for no one noticing because the lights are out. I tell you what, we'll roll to find out exactly how accurate you are able to be in the dark in terms of how long it's going to be before this thing spectacularly combusts. Let me ask you this, Edvard. How long would you like it to be?
I think as long as possible, because we do have another task to complete here.
Sure.
So ideally it would happen later this afternoon after I've left.
Sort of end of the day kind of. That's fine. Yeah.
As long as it ruins Astor's reputation, I'm fine. Yes, I would like it to take as long as possible.
So just before people start leaving to beat rush hour.
Oh yeah, okay. When the most
you want people to see it.
Yeah,
exactly. What is this? A tinker roll?
It's up to you, as long as you can make the case.
I think it's probably a tinker roll. I'm interfering with some machinery.
Yeah.
So I have two dots in tinker.
Okay.
So I'm rolling 2 dice. Okay. That's a 6 and a 4.
Well, we'll take the 6. Fantastic. Yeah. You sort of easily and smoothly. Well, how do you describe? How does it look? What's this? Okay.
Action? Well, I look around me and everyone is distracted by the announcement happening. So as I said previously, I put some of this liquid onto a handkerchief I have in my pocket, and then going up to the hydraulic spoke, I notice the exact point at which the spoke will have a sort of steady friction over time that I think will build up the friction in this liquid and eventually cause it to burst into flames. So I just quickly give that a little rub on both ends of the spoke, and then I pop the handkerchief back in my pocket and walk away whistling.
That's the famous Capcom theme.
Yeah.
It goes with everything.
Fantastic. At this point, why don't we hop back to Kasimir?
Okay, so I'd like to make this a prowl roll. I'm going to push myself, so I'm rolling 3 dice here.
Okay. Well, it's a lot of people to get through.
Yeah. Criminy. Oh, that's a 6.
Hey.
No, very nice. Very nice.
So I want to make a note that I'm releasing the valve on my brace again, so I can sort of duck under, sort of with a wince.
Yeah.
Sort of kind of just trying to get in.
You sort of politely yet firmly make your way to the front of this kind of packed crowd who are already assembling for the display that's coming up in the best part of an hour still. And when you get to the front to this frill, you just ever casually as you like look around as if you're looking for someone, see that the coast is clear, and then just tuck and roll whoop, onto the ground and whoop, 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 just underneath the stand. Incredible. Okay, here's what it looks like under there. It's very dark, and it is the struts that support this stage are like metal sorts of things, kind of like in the scaffolding, if you like, kind of arranged in a sort of like grid patterns. And in the center of this large square space that you are sort of underneath, you can see there is what looks like a kind of jumble of metal and equipment. It's a little tricky to figure out from your point of view right now what that is, but it looks like a large sort of, it's a machine of some kind, but that's all you can determine from here. And there's nothing else that you can see immediately under the stage, Kasimir.
Okay, I think I had better go have a look at that machinery in case it secretly is the goat.
Okay. Good to check.
Yeah, so I guess this would be study, in which I have but 1 dot. So, Luke, I would like a devil's bargain.
Will Kasimir's mechanical gamble pay off? What is the secret of Clelland's innovative goat? And can Edvard and Kasimir possibly steal it? Find out tomorrow in Oxventure Presents Blades in the Dark.